All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I am so much excited, super excited, double excited, maybe triple excited to be here. All right. And I believe for as many of us that we are online currently, we are also excited to be here. Very excited. Wherever you are watching me from, okay, I want you to do this for me. I want you to use the comment box. I want you to tell me your name and where you are watching from. Tell me your name and where you are watching from. I know we have participants from all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, so one of the things interesting about today's discussion is we are talking about success. And I believe success is something every one of us we are interested in. Every one of us, everybody wants to be successful. And for some of you that you've been, watching the video we started with, you must have learned that success is something inbuilt. The manufacturer wants every one of us to. And I'm so much excited that you are here today. All right, so I'm going to skip, several things so that I can bring in my guest. Already, my guest is in the studio and is powerfully ready for us. For some of us that you've been with us for some times now, you would have seen him here. All right, I remember the last time I invited him, he spoke extensively on personal leadership. All right, personal leadership as it relates to growth. And again, I mean, is my go-to person when it comes to leadership. And everything is around leadership. Everything is so right. You can't talk extensively about something meaningful. You can't talk extensively whether about purpose. You can't talk extensively about potential without talking about leadership. And my guest today is my go-to person when it comes to leadership. All right, so let me go to his introduction. Our guest today is Sijuade Adeyeye. He's the founder and CEO of the Organized Youth and Leadership Development Network, otherwise known as Toad Network. I guess so as many of us will have, heard about Toad Network. All right. He is the convener of the annual Toad Leadership Bootcamp, a transformative leadership development conference that equips participants with practical leadership skills, critical thinking abilities, and a strong ethical foundation. This program serves as a cornerstone to his efforts to raising the next generation of visionary leaders. Additionally, he organizes town hall interaction sessions for election candidates, providing a platform for aspiring leaders to engage directly with their constituents, share their vision, and address pertinent issues. You see, I'm going to share us a flyer, and of course, it's going to talk about it, the upcoming events that is happening. I think for as many of us that we will be in that location, you need to attend this particular event. You don't even have any skills. All right, it's an event that you should attend. Now, Sijuade's commitment to promoting effective governance and leadership is further underscored by his Governance and Leadership Summits, which is popularly known as GLS, where he conveys thought leaders, policymakers, and experts to discuss strategies for enhancing leadership and governance practice in the nation. In his capacity as the CEO of Toad Network, he is entrusted with a diverse range of duties and responsibility aimed at engendering the growth and development of young people. Now, listen to me, everyone. I'm so much excited, just like I said earlier, to bring to you Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye, the CEO of Toad Network.
Welcome everyone who is on board and watching us right now, speaking on personal leadership. or cost of success. Just like he said, success is the desire of everyone, and success is founded by God. Why I'm not seeing myself well in this orientation. All right. In any case, let's continue. God is the author of success. God wants us to succeed. In the book of John chapter 1, John 1, Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, it says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth." It now says that you will meditate on it day and night, and you observe to do according to all that is written therein. Then afterwards, you will have good success. So God's intention is for his children, is for us to have success. God is the author of success. When God starts a thing, he accomplishes it. When Jesus Christ came, he said, "I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work." So Jesus was conscious of succeeding about his goal. And success simply means accomplishment of goals. All right. We'll be talking about goals because you can't talk about leadership without talking about goals. Goals are essential to leadership. So we shall be talking about that also. Excuse me. So God is the author of success, but success doesn't come without a cost. In fact, it was Bishop David Ewood that said that whatever offers you value must cost you something. So success is not free, and success is not also cheap, but it is affordable. Success is also achievable by anyone, all right? Because the cost of success is universal. Other things being equal, Pythagoras theorem says that the square of the opposite side and the square of the adjacent, the sum of the two will always be equal to the square of the hypotenuse, provided it is in right angle triangle. So once the angle is right, other conditions will also be fulfilled. And that is what I want to say briefly. God is the author of success. God is not against success. It is his desire to solve. It is his desire. It is his longing for us to succeed. It doesn't give God any joy when we don't succeed. And success is all encompassing. Success is not limited to having money alone. Many people, and we must be able to define these things in perspective. You remember the holistic definition of prosperity in the book of 3rd John. Is it 3rd John or 1st John, when he said that I wish above all things that you prosper? Okay, I think in 3rd John. And then as you are doing well, he wants you also to, as you are doing well spiritually, God wants us to prosper and to succeed externally. So we must pursue holistic success, spiritual success, and this event is well packaged. We are going to be seeing success in every dimension. But today's discussion is centered on leadership, personal leadership. What is leadership? There are different definitions of leadership by leadership experts. I remember the last time I was here, I said Miles Monroe has his own version of leadership. John Maxwell has his own version of leadership. John Maxwell will just say that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So anyone who has ability to influence others, you are already leading. Okay. And but I love to define why I don't dispute all those definitions, and I don't stand in any way to dispute. I accept those definitions. But you can come up with your own definition from experience, from your personal dealings, from your personal growth, and then from your exposures. I simply define leadership as taking responsibility. That means there is something to respond to. There's an issue, there's a situation that needs either a solution or orderliness. So a leader takes responsibility to ensure that things are in order. And I love this personality in the Bible. His name is Nehemiah. Anytime I speak on leadership, he is my model of leadership among many others. Now, Nehemiah saw a need, and he harnessed his potentials, he harnessed his resources, and he responded to that need. Maybe some of us might not know the story, but for the sake of some of us who don't know the story, Nehemiah was in a foreign land. He was a fugitive. That is, he was kidnapped from his own city and taken to another country. So he now heard where he was that he was serving king. Where he now heard that some people have come to destroy his own city. But because of the love he has for his own city, he sat down, and the Bible said that he wept for many days. He didn't only weep, he mourned. He didn't only mourn, he also fasted. He didn't only fast, he also prayed. But he didn't only pray, he stepped into action. So can you see those steps now? So coming from personal leadership, before you respond to something on the outside, there's something inside you or inside of you that is responding to that external issue or external event. So that thing inside you is what makes your personal leadership. The blind cannot lead the blind. You cannot lead the people to where you have not been yourself. So ability to be somewhere else, first of all, is personal leadership. Okay, in another dimension, personal leadership simply means personal development. That is anything you can do for yourself to get yourself prepared for the task to lead others. It is a personal leadership. That means you have, first of all, equipped yourself with the necessary potentials, with the necessary tools, with the necessary equipping that will make you suitable and make you ready to lead on the outside. And that is personal leadership. Now, few things to note about personal leadership regarding or with respect to the cost of success. Personal leadership has to do with you sitting down first. You have to sit down first and have a conversation with yourself. Who am I? What do I have? Why am I existing? Where am I going? What are the things I possess? Not many people have taken time to sit down to take stock of their life, of their potentials, of their abilities, of their resources, of their relationships. So it starts from there. Personal leadership starts with you sitting down and having a conversation with yourself. First of all, identity. Who are you? Who am I? Because your identity is your strength. Your identity is your strength. When you don't understand your identity, you will mismanage your life, you will misinvest your time and your resources. So it starts from there. Identity. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? They came to tell John the Baptist, or they came to ask him, are you Jesus Christ? Or are you Elijah? He said, I am neither Jesus Christ, neither am I Elijah. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the path. That means he understood himself. He also understood his assignment. And you remember that the Bible said that he was in the wilderness until the day of his showing unto Israel. While he was in the wilderness, he was having conversation with himself. He was getting to know, who am I? What is my assignment? All right. So sit down with yourself, have conversation around your life. Who am I? Who am I? Then to make it simply, or to make it simple and simplify it, how do you have this conversation with yourself? You do that by various means, by acquiring information, by gathering knowledge, by having exposure, by reading, and by meditating. In fact, by having conversation with others. It was Elon Musk. They asked him, "Why? How were you able to achieve this? How did you come to the stature you have become? You have grown to? How did you grow into this stature?" He said, "Anyone can become anything if you read a lot and you have conversation with people. That means you communicate with people, you listen to others, you observe people, you observe things and situations around you. So when you read a lot of books, a lot of information is hidden. A huge information is hidden in books. So we deprive ourselves a lot when we don't read. In fact, many breakthroughs I've had in my life, in my intellectual, in my mental, in my mentality, they came from reading books. So sit down with yourself, have conversation around your life, acquire information, gather knowledge by reading books, by attending conferences like this, by giving yourself exposures. Just travel to places that you know that there are some places you know that when you get there, something will drop in your life. I know those places that if I enter into this area, something will change in me. And I know those places I will enter into, I know those things I will expose myself to that will kill something in me. So exposure is key and critical. You remember that when God wanted to send Abraham, when God wanted to deal with Abraham, one of the first thing he dealt with was his identity. Who are you? He changed his name from Abraham to Abraham, connoting a sense of his assignment. All right. Another thing he did was to expose Abraham. He said, leave your father's house, leave your family, leave your kindred. And I want to take you somewhere. I want to show you something. One night he said, come out, look up, what do you see? And Abraham saw stars. He saw millions of stars, constellations. He saw them. And God began to define his identity for him. That is exposure. Exposure. He exposed him. And that thing changed his mindset. It changed his mentality. All right? It changed him. It was an exposure. Stuck with him. He formed the basis of his life, his existence, and his assignment. Exposure. You remember Joseph too. God also gave him an exposure. He said, this is what you are going to become. He showed him a dream, he showed him a vision. And from that vision, he got his exposure. And that exposure stuck with him. He knew where he was going. He knew how to conduct himself. Personal leadership from exposure, from identity. When his brothers came and they were lamenting, we are sorry, we didn't know what you were doing. We sold you, we did this. He said, don't worry. You thought you sold me here, But what happens is that God sent me here to preserve a posterity. Identity. Identity. So who am I? Who are you? In fact, I learned something that one of the powerful phrases, one of the most powerful phrases in life is the two word I am. A-I-A-M. I am. I am is one of the strongest word or phrase in the world because it connotes identity. It connotes who you are. It connotes your sense of worth. It connotes and represents your identity. So have that conversation around yourself. Sit down. He sat down with himself. I love if you read that Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 4, from verse 1 to 4, 5. When he heard that, he sat down with himself. He began to communicate with himself. Then he stepped into action. Then the next thing you do when you sit down is that you engage yourself in refining the knowledge that you have acquired. Refine your knowledge. You know, knowledge in our life is like raw materials. You know that when you have raw raw materials are almost of use to no one until it is refined or until they are refined and until the best is brought out of them. So when you sit down with the knowledge that you have acquired, imagine me reading many books and I don't jot, I don't take anything down. I am just reading and reading and reading without sitting down to actually digest, to meditate, and to refine on these things. They will remain raw materials. Don't speak about them. But there's something about meditation. Meditation is the refining process of the knowledge that you have acquired. When you explore crude oil from the underground, from the underwater, you take that crude oil at that state is useless. It cannot generate energy. It cannot power our mechanical devices. But when this crude oil is subjected to the process called refining, you begin to get byproducts and finished product like AGO, like PMS, and like what have you. I mean, petrol, diesel, and the likes. So at that point, you can then apply your petrol in your car or in your vehicle, as the case may be. Then this refined product can begin to power your vehicle, can begin to cause your vehicle to accelerate, to move. So also in our life, when we get knowledge comes as raw materials. We sit down on them and process that knowledge. We contextualize the knowledge. Because sometimes you can be reading something in another clime and does not directly relate to your life. It does not directly relate to your atmosphere. It does not directly relate to your climate. It does not directly relate to where you are. So what you do with those knowledge is that you contextualize them, you refine them, you sit over them, you refine them, you think over them, and you meditate on them. Still coming back to what God told Nehemiah. Is it Nehemiah? No, sorry, Joshua. He said, this book of the law, this knowledge that you have acquired, this knowledge I've handed over to you, it is knowledge. But as far as this book is concerned, it will not automatically give you good success. You have to refine it, you have to sit on it, you have to meditate on it. When you have meditated on it, it enters into your subconscious. And when it enters into your subconscious, whatever enters into our subconscious, begin to form our control system. They begin to begin to form a neural pathway in us that automatically dictates to us how we behave and how we act on the outside. So when you see some people acting irrationally, they are acting based on certain commands that has entered into their system. When someone is drunk, he has taken something in his system, and that drink begin to direct his activity, begin to direct his life. So we are a sum total of our thoughts. In fact, our actions come from our thoughts. Our thoughts elicit our actions. So personal leadership prioritizes his thought, prioritizes his subconscious. It prioritizes the strength and the power of his mind. Personal leadership. So sit with yourself, gather knowledge, get exposures, and not only that, refine what you have got. And it is your responsibility to source for raw materials, just like I said. Source for them by exposures and the likes. Let me also mention something about personal leadership. When you have all these things, they can generate a vision. The knowledge you have acquired, the exposures you have acquired can generate a vision for you. So personal leadership is also incumbent and has vision as its foundation. You must have vision. You must have vision. All right. So vision simply means a mental picture of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Vision. Nehemiah had a vision to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. The burnt down game, he had that was his vision, to just bring restoration back to his land. That is vision. So vision is central, vision is fundamental. In fact, the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. So when somebody lacks the ingredient of personal leadership, you don't only destroy yourself, you destroy a lot of people. Imagine if Nehemiah have not risen up to take that step, to take that action, to have a vision to fulfill and to pursue. The people might have just been in ruins, in dilapidation, and in destruction. But when a man rises up to have a vision, and vision most time comes with exposure. When you're exposed, you can generate vision. For instance, do you know that you may not have exposure about financial solutions if, one, you don't have knowledge about the financial system of a nation, of a people? You don't understand the financial institution, how it works? There are many people who have brought solution to our financial bottlenecks and problems. In fact, there was a time that when you want to pay money, you have to enter into bank. But today, you want to pay money to certain institutions, just use your remitter. So remitter brought what is called financial solution. People like InterSwitch, they brought financial solution. Quick Teller, financial solution. Flutterwave, financial solution. And many more like that. In fact, your popular OPay, they brought in financial solutions. But do you know that you may never conceive that vision if you are not exposed to system like that? I don't know if someone is getting what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that exposure elicits vision. Exposure generates vision. All right? And that's why God gave Abraham an exposure. He gave Joseph an exposure. In fact, even the Nehemiah we are talking about, he gave him an exposure. Nehemiah was in the diaspora. Maybe possibly he saw the way things were working in that palace where he was, in the government house. That's an exposure. And he gained that confidence, he gained that privilege, he gained that exposure and knowledge and understanding to go and then build and rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Exposure, right? What else should I talk about? Then have the vision, have the conviction, right? But conviction, that is confidence, assurance. Because as A leader that you want to succeed, you must be convinced of your success. You must be convinced of your vision. Have the conviction of your vision. Now, I was meditating yesterday and I wrote it on Facebook. I said, have the conviction of your vision. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone. I am the founder of Toad Network. And Toad Network, what we do at Toad Network is we have a vision to raise excellent leaders that will be committed to nation building. That is a vision. But do you know that many people have been coming to us and say, this guy, you have interest in politics. What you are doing, the way you are doing, it's like you want to go into politics. When we talk about leadership, it is unfortunate that people's mind go to politics. And leadership is not limited to political leadership, for God's sake. And them, because it is the way people have come to the kind of definition and picture people have come to give to leadership. Politics. Somebody wants to go for an elective position and he wants to contest. The next thing the person will do is that it will begin to create a foundation. For instance, let's say I want to go into politics, I say, okay, Sijuade Foundation. And the foundation will begin to do some things in the community. It is then we will know that we have time, we want to respond to the needs of the community. But where have you been in your teenage years? The community you didn't remember. It is when you feel that, when you now remember that I want to go into politics, it is then you are now say, okay, I have a foundation. Let's start doing extramural lesson for students. Let's start giving something to the widows. Let's start empowering the youth. But that vision is a limited vision. It's getting you somewhere. You understand? So have a conviction of your vision. That So when people talk, I said this vision is greater than what people are saying. Politics. Not that we are afraid of politics. If God calls us into politics, we'll go into it. If God says there is a need for us, there's something He wants to use us for there, we'll gladly oblige. But a vision is wider than what people are thinking. So someone was having a conversation with me recently and said, you need to gather influence what you are doing. Say what you are doing is like, yes, I know it will give you influence, but a time will come that they will give you political appointments. In fact, he was telling me to keep gathering my momentum so that they can give me political appointments. And I was angry in my spirit. I look at that statement, political appointments. Political appointments. But this vision God has given to us is greater and higher than any political appointment they can give you. They will give you political appointment. 4 years, 8 years, you are done. Then what becomes your life? So your vision is what preoccupies you for the rest of your life. Wherever you find yourself, whether in the political office or outside of politics. So have a conviction of your vision. The same Nehemiah we are talking about. As a personal leadership, he had a conviction of his vision. He had that conviction of his vision. So people came to meet him and they came to discourage him. I said, this thing, what are you building? Look at the wall you are building. Even if a bird should patch on it, everything will just fall. But do you know that if this guy was not convinced about his vision, maybe at that point he might have neglected it. In fact, there were many distractions that came, different distractions from different places, just to quench his vision. But Nehemiah was determined. He said, I am doing a good work. Conviction of your vision. Because when you are not convinced about your vision, people will dissuade you, you will be distracted, and your vision will be thwarted. It will be wasted. It will be, it will be, it will be nullified. And that's why Jesus Christ said, I have set my face like a flint. Conviction. They said, Jesus, come and become king. No, 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 no. I know where I've been called to become king. Conviction of his vision. Then the next thing is conviction of your purpose. Of your potential. Conviction of your potential. I'll begin to round up in the next few minutes. Have a conviction of your potential. What do you have? Many of us, whatever will become great in our life is already in our hands now, in a little way, in an inconsequential way, that we are not taking cognizance of. What do you have? What are your resources? Remember Moses when he wanted to cross the Red Sea? God asked him, what is this in your hand? So that means what he needed to cross the Red Sea was already in his hand. He stretched it and the sea parted. It's already in his hand. Jesus Christ wanted to feed people. He asked him, what do you have? They said, 2 fishes and 5 loaves. He said, that one is enough, bring it. And he multiplied it. What you have is enough. You remember that Zarephath, that widow of Zarephath? She had something in her house that was multiplied. What you have is enough. Personal leadership. So personal leadership also has to do with recognizing and having a conviction of our potential, our resources. David, when David got to the battlefield, when Goliath was molesting and harassing the soldiers, the armies or the army of Israel, David was angry. Say, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that is defying the armies of God, of Israel? And they almost persuaded him, his elder brothers, who we think should know better. Say, look at you. You are very proud. We've always known you. Umambe, you are too forward. Even from home, you are too forward. And David said, is there not a cause? I understand what I'm saying. I know what I have. I know what I have to deal with this person. Okay, when he eventually persuaded them, Saul now say, okay, take this garment. This is my garment of battle. Take it upon yourself. This is my armor of battle. Take it upon yourself and go and confront this Goliath. David put it on and said, I've not used this before. And he took what he was used to, that sling and a stone. What you have in your hand. The sling and the stone in your hand that you are despising has the capacity to give you a global relevance or to lead on a global scale. If you have a conviction of your potential, of your resources, of your associations, and what have you. So today, begin to take stock. Leadership starts from there. Take stock of all these things. You have a vision. All right, what's the next thing to do? When Nehemiah called that vision, he began to look to maximize his resources, his relationship. He went to meet the king. That's relationship. That's what he has. Say, king, please give me one of your private jeep. I want to go on a trip. And the king wrote it and gave him everything he needed. That's association. Many of us have powerful association, but we don't know the strength. We don't have the conviction of our association. What some people do with their association is just to ask for urgent 2K. But there's a lot to tap from your association than the handouts that you are getting from them. It's not just about give me, give me, give me. When you maximize your association, in fact, as a leader, there's nothing you can do, almost next to nothing without the people. Look at the great men in history and in the world today, even from the Bible. These were men who had people around them. Maybe only Samson did not have people, and we saw how he ended. Abraham had people. He had is it 316 or over 300 armed men living in his house? People. And this one, when he went to rescue his cousin or his nephew Lot, so have a conviction of your resources, conviction of your vision, conviction of your potential. Just have those convictions. So take ownership of your life, take ownership of what you have. Then let me quickly say something on planning. I will end this day, or goal setting. Personal leadership is also rooted in setting, because when you have a vision, you have a task to accomplish. Is how, which comes about goal setting. Goal setting is not just about what you want to achieve, but it also has to do with how you will achieve it, or how you will achieve them. So goals are mapped out plans. They are strategies, they are pathways to achieving your vision. You set those goals. So goals are not just for accomplishment, or they are not just have, don't just, when you are setting goals, don't just have an accomplishment in mind, have action in mind. There are daily routines that are made for accomplishment of goals. And let me tell you something, there's no way you give yourself to daily routines, to things that enhances the fulfillment of your goals, that you won't succeed in life. Our success are hidden in our routines, either daily or perpetual routines. We succeed to the extent to which we give ourselves to the requirements of our accomplishment, goals accomplishment. So there are requirements, there are things, and when you are dealing with goals, it has a lot to do with discipline, because in this our generation we have a lot of distractions at our hand. You pick your phone, you can be on phone for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then you will not know that time has gone. When you go to TikTok, you are tired of TikTok, WhatsApp, you are tired of WhatsApp, Instagram, tired of Instagram, Snapchat, tired of Snapchat, YouTube. You watch reels and you begin to watch reels, and content, there are a lot, millions of content creators in the world today. You see comedy, you see all kinds of things you want there on the internet. But discipline will help us to be focused. Discipline will help us to be committed to accomplishing. Let me quickly say these 4 things about goals and action. We need to be action oriented, and our action must be immediate. When you have a goal, when you have set your goal, give yourself an immediate action. Procrastinate your action. Don't. So it must be immediate, it must be consistent, and it must be persistent. Your action must be what? Immediate, consistent, and persistent. With this, there will be no devil to stop you. So there are 4 different levels of action that people take. The first level is where people don't take action at all. That's also an action. When you don't take an action, that's also an action. And the second level, according to Grant Cardone from his book 10x Rule, the 10x Rule, the book is about giving yourself 10 times commitment to the fulfillment of your goal than normal or than any other person would do, by Grant Cardone. It's a powerful book. In that book, he gave us 4 levels of action. 1, no action. 2, when you have stopped taking action. They are different. The no action level is when you have stopped taking, you were taking actions before, but you got to a time that you have stopped taking action that brought you. Let's say, for instance, you read 5 books in a day. You gave yourself that goal, that target, that task. I say every day, 5 pages. Every day I'll be reading 5 pages of a book. And you gave yourself, you are doing it for a while. After a while, you stopped. So you got to a level of no, there's a name we called it, but it's a level where you get to where you stop taking action. Then the third level of action is what you call the normal level action. Normal level action, that is comfort zone. This is a zone where we get to that we take action, but we take normal action. Let's say you have been reading that 5 books. It is consistent, which is good. Which is good. You take normal action. He said many people are on this pedestal, on this step of ladder, where we take normal action. It is the action that make people average. That's the level of action that make people you just coast along in your comfort zone. This is a zone I am. You grab normal action. Then the last type of action is said, he called it if action. That means a level where you take action that is more than necessary, that is more than required, that they begin to say, are you the one that killed somebody? You know what they call in Yoruba parlance, they say when you take your religion seriously, you grab. So massive action, when you take 10x action. For instance, you are reading 5 pages in a day. But I say at this level, I don't want to read 5 pages. Times 10 or 5, that is 50 pages in a day. He said, when you give yourself to this kind of level of action, he said, you will also see your results. You also see that result. All right. So, personal leadership. I think I will stop here and then we go for question. Thank you.
So once again, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye. Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye is the CEO and founder of Toad Network. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, I said that for as many of us that we are watching this live, and for as many that will be watching this after now, will have so much to learn from this piece on personal leadership, because it all begins with personal leadership. It all begins with leadership. And if we properly learn to lead ourselves, if we properly learn to take actions, then, we will definitely get the success that we hope for. We definitely get the success that we hope for. So I want to do a brief recap before I take some questions. We have some questions already from people that registered. But if you have any question, if you are here live with me, if you have any question, please drop it on the comment box. All right, whether you're watching from Facebook, whether you're watching from YouTube, whether you're watching from wherever you're watching from, LinkedIn, drop your question in the comment. I'm going to take the question. We have some questions already for our guest, and but let me quickly take the recap. Mr. Sijuade said we should have the ability to lead ourselves, that you should have the ability to lead yourself. She also said you should ask yourself critical questions. Many of us do not take out the time to ask ourselves specific questions. Calling yourself to order and start questioning yourself so that you'll be able to get authentic answers. He said, having conversation with yourself, getting your identity, gathering information. He spoke about reading books, attending conferences, right? Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye also talked about exposure, the importance of exposure. The importance of exposure, even to helping you to identify who you are. All right, helping you to, you mentioned something about exposure and vision. All right, how quality your vision is also dependent on how exposed you are. And I think another thing that really caught my attention about during when he was talking was on conduct. All right, on conduct, basically knowing who you are. All right. And he said something and I noted it down. I want to give every one of us assignment. If you will not be saying I'm demanding too much, I want you to write out 7 I ams about yourself. All right, 7 I am about yourself. Just write it down. In fact, you can write it on the comment box, but I want you to write it. If you have a journal, write it. I am good. I am productive. All right, I am excellent. And one of the things I learned from this book, Atomic Habits, is when you write these things down and you say it to yourself, you definitely become what you say, right? You definitely become what you say. He also mentioned refining your knowledge. He said knowledge are raw materials. So it is important you refine your knowledge. He said vision is central. Vision and fundamental. He said exposure generates vision. Exposure generates vision. Many of us, the reason why you are not doing what you are supposed to do is because you are not where you're supposed to be. The reason why you are not doing what you are supposed to do is because you've not read the book you are supposed to read, right? So it is important that you expose yourself for you to get vision. So he said something here. I wrote it, I personalized it. He said, vision preoccupies me. Vision preoccupies me. Vision preoccupies me for the best of my life. Vision preoccupies me. Vision preoccupies me. He also spoke about conviction of vision. That you must be convinced. You must be convinced about your vision. He said you must be convinced of your potentials. You must be convinced of your potential. You must be convinced of your potentials. He also mentioned that you must be convinced of your resources. You must be convinced of your resources. Be convinced of your resources. Very, very important. Be convinced of your resources. He mentioned lastly again that you must be convinced of your relationships. Be convinced of your relationship. And lastly, he spoke about goal setting, and he said for you to achieve any goal, you must be disciplined. You must be disciplined. He mentioned 4 things, 4 levels of actions. He mentioned no action, stop taking actions, normal level action, which you call the comfort zone, and massive action. All right. Once again, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye, thank you so much for this wonderful time with you. I mean, I said it earlier that anytime I have any concern on leadership, anytime I have any concern on, leadership, anything related to leadership, anything related to governance, all right, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye is my go-to person, and thank you so much for this wonderful presentation tonight. I have some few questions here. Again, if you have any question wherever you are watching from, please do well to put it on the comment box. So, Mr. Shidu, there is this question here. It says, how can I maintain personal leadership when facing daily challenges that seems overwhelming? How can I maintain personal leadership when I am facing daily challenges that are overwhelming. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. How to sustain personal leadership in the midst of daily, overwhelming daily challenges. The first thing is to live with conviction. Live with conviction. Conviction is very powerful. Look at what Joseph did in the house of Potiphar. He was faced with daily challenges that could have crumbled his leadership, his personal leadership. But he maintained his consistency and he maintained his value. So conviction is very, very key. Then the second one is resilience. I'll mention conviction, resilience, and there's another third one, which is priority. Conviction, resilience, and priority, CRP. So maintain your conviction. Know where you are going to, because there's a way your conviction strengthens you. There's a way when you have a conviction. You remember what the Bible said in the book of Romans, chapter 4, verse 20, about Abraham. That Abraham staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but he was strong in faith, being fully persuaded that he who has promised is able also to perform it. So that persuasion, he was persuaded, that means he had personal conviction. And that personal conviction was fueling his motion. Then the next one is a resilience. You must be resilient. That is, regardless, whatever the challenge I face, you should know that I have no other. In Yoruba, they will say that look at me, Lenyo. You have no other mountain apart from heaven, apart from sky. You have no other height apart from sky. As it is. So where you are going to, your vision, your potentials, when you are fully abreast of all these things, there's a way they will strengthen your resolve. They will say where they will fuel your action. So when you prioritize most, item in your priority list. So I will stop here. Be convinced, live with conviction. Conviction will strengthen you to overcome daily challenges and then be resilient and also have priorities. So if any other thought comes, I may want to share later.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shijo. I have another question here, and I guess if I'm not getting any other question, this will be the last question. It says, what role does personal leadership play in making tough decisions that affects both my career and personal life? What role does personal leadership play in making tough decisions that affect both my career and personal life? Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Values. When we talk about personal leadership, it has a lot to do with our values. I didn't really mention about values. Now, foundational to personal leadership are the core values that you uphold. And these core values are the one that determines or that informs your decision. In other words, your core values influence your decision. So every decision, every action you take, they are taken with reference or they are taking a cue from your personal core values. So personal leadership has a lot to do with core values. In fact, the raw materials of personal leadership too are part of your personal core values. And when I'm talking about personal discovery the other time, you must be able to identify your core values. What are my core values? So these your core values are the one that will dictate your decision. For instance, there are some places you cannot work. Someone like me, I can't be going and be working in a bar and be serving tiri tiri or Gouda. because these things don't align with my core values. Or I now say, okay, oh, Ba is the one selling now. I want to be the next Obi Kubana or the next Kubana priest. Someone is doing Alomo bitter, and you want to start producing Alomo bitters. So personal leadership, which is rooted in your core values, will influence your decision of your career, and even your entire journey in life. So let me pause. Let me peg this there.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye. Thank you so much. I mean, these are wonderful combinations that you've given us tonight. And for as many that have listened to us, will definitely have something that will, push them towards success. Just like I said, for some of us that followed us during the series, I mentioned that the combination of success is a lot. All right. And personal leadership is one of them. And, even Mr. Shejo has said a lot concerning personal leadership, and there is still more to learn on in personal leadership. There is still more to learn in personal leadership. But before I release Mr. Shidu tonight, I want Mr. Shidu to talk about his forthcoming events. All right, his forthcoming events. This particular one. So, Mr. Shiju, I don't know, maybe you could just take us, talk to us more about, Toad Network, what you do in Toad Network, what Toad Network is all about, and most especially also about this forthcoming event. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for this privilege to talk about our upcoming event, which is called Governance and Leadership Summit. In Toad Network, we have a vision, just like I said, that our vision is to raise a network of excellent great leaders that we committed to building the nation. We have a nation that is bereft of quality leadership, excellent leadership. And everything rises and falls on leadership, according to John Maxwell. Wherever you see things working, there are workers behind it, according to Bishop Oyedepo. And these workers are known as leaders. They are people who take responsibility for the situation and for the problems of their environment and their community. So what we set out as a leader, as a network or as an organization, is that if leadership is a major and a key factor of success of any community and society, then we must begin to raise quality leaders. So Toad Network is all about raising quality leaders for every aspect of our society, for every sector of our economy, whether you are into business, you are into politics, you are into governance, you are into ministry, you are into family, whatever area you find yourself. But this particular event, we call it GLS, Governance and Leadership Summit. The idea of Governance and Leadership Summit is to have an intellectual conversation around governance and around leadership. And that leadership is tailored mainly towards governance, towards politics, and towards our democracy. There are many leaders, there are many people on the corridor of power in governance today who don't have enough of good orientation that can give us good success, that can give us good governance. So the idea of GLS is to begin to give quality orientation, quality conversation around governance. I said that people's decisions, people's behavior are fueled by their orientation, by their exposures. So let's give people this avenue for exposure and to learn about leadership, about governance, about good governance. So that if tomorrow they find themselves in this corridor of power or in politics or in governance, what have you, they have something that is guiding their decisions, which is good orientation. So we are bringing thought leaders, experienced leaders in the sector of governance and leadership. Uh, Stanley Ekpa is an Abuja-based lawyer who has worked with several organizations, several states, several communities, several governors to ensure that good governance is enhanced. and the welfare of the people are met or taken care of. And we'll be bringing Mrs. Folashade Arike PhD. She's the SSC to the state government of Kogi State. And the next speaker is Professor Olayemi Akinwumi. He's the present VC of Federal University in Lokoja. And we contacted these people that have given us their word, and then we're expecting them to inspire our audience so that at the end of the day we can have a good number of people in leadership who know what they are doing. So that is what JLS is all about. Thank you for this privilege.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shiju, once again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel like I keep thanking you. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And again, just before I would say we've come to the end of today's session, Mr. Shiju, I know you will have a final word for anyone listening to us right now who is aiming towards success, whether the person is a university student or just a fresh graduate. Maybe someone is just going for NYC, or I mean, irrespective of the category in life that this particular individual is, what would be your advice? What would be that key advice that you give to that individual? Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. I read a book from by Sam Adeyemi, Dr. Sam Adeyemi. I think the title of the book is Success is Who You Are. Success is who you are. Just know that your identity is success. You are not trying to achieve success. You are already a success. So it is just an unfolding of every part of your life. And I have this slogan that life, we are on a journey. That you are not there today does not mean that you cannot be there. And then don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on yourself. Apostle Paul told, was it Timothy now? Yes, Timothy said, let no man look down on you because you are young. Don't look down on yourself. Anybody can succeed. You can succeed. People who are succeeding today, or people who are success personified, they have not always appeared like that, though they have always been successful. Success is who they are. All right. Success is who they are that I've been making reference to. All right. Joseph appeared next to nothing when he was being sold. When he was in the prison, he would have looked at himself and say, what success are we talking about here? Look at me in the prison. But he was on a journey. He was on a journey. So have a conviction of your vision, have a conviction of your journey, that you're on a journey, that you are not there today does not mean that you have ended your journey. So keep moving, and then keep inspiring yourself that you're a success, and then keep leading. Wherever you get to as a leader, take responsibility. You see something that is not working, take responsibility. Don't look away. And then you may think that you don't have the resources or what you have. You may think that you don't have what it takes to take responsibility. But when you look critically into your life, just like what I've said earlier, what you have is enough. Thank you so much, Mr. Ige, for this privilege to share a little on what I know about leadership. God bless Growth Network, and then cause it to expand in Jesus'
name. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Once again, our speaker is Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye, the founder and CEO of the Told Network. If you are around Lokoja, ensure Kogi State Lokoja, ensure you attend this particular conference, Responsive, Inclusive, and Impactful Governance. Responsive, inclusive, and impactful governance. We all have responsibility to play in governance, we all have a responsibility to play in governance. So if you are around this location, please do well to join in there. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye. We are always excited. I mean, anytime again that we are talking about leadership, we are talking about personal leadership or any form of leadership, Mr. Sijuade Adeyeye is a go-to person. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I'm really grateful. I'm really excited. Tomorrow is another time again. Tomorrow we are going into technology and AI. We'll be talking about technology and AI, and our guest will be speaking to us directly from Japan, right? Abayomi Olawumi will be speaking to us on technology and AI, the future of success. Technology and AI, the future of success. You don't really want to miss it. Thank you so much. Again, we'll meet again, same time. Should I say same station now? All right, same time, same station tomorrow. Thank you and God bless you. Let's come together, let's discover, learn, and grow.